I am here at Mission Control with our team at various locations. Looking forward to the 2021 State of the City address. You know, this has been a unique start to 2021, and this is going to be a unique state of the city as well, presented to you obviously virtually. For many of you, you're viewing from the comfort of your own home, or perhaps appropriately distanced in your own facilities at work, if you're one of the essential workers. We are all respecting the gathering restrictions of the emergency orders and the remaining days, of course, of the provincial stay-at-home order. On one thing that doesn't change, we obviously have a lot of change that we're dealing with throughout 2020 and now in 2021. But one of the things that doesn't change is the respect that we have here at the Board of Trade for traditions that our business community has for those that have come before us. And so if you'll allow me, I'd like to begin today's session with an acknowledgement of the land that we are on here. As we gather virtually today, the Brampton Board of Trade would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which the Region of Peel operates, it is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. For thousands of years, Indigenous people have inhabited and cared for this land. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of the Anishinaabe, the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewa peoples, the land that is home to the Métis, and most recently the territory of the Mississaugas of Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and by doing so, give our respect to the first inhabitants. As I mentioned, I serve as your MC, set some of the context here for our engaging session. Thanks to all of you that have attended a little early and participated in our sessions with one-on-one networking. We do have a half an hour following our program where you can do that again. To add to the engagement and enjoyment of your time with us today, let me take a moment to point out some of the fun experiential things we have as part of our platform this morning. On the left of your screen, you have hopefully already noticed and taken advantage of the networking and expo areas in this platform. You'll see on the right-hand side of your screen that there is a chat on the top, a chat words, chats, people, etc. poll, but it's ready for you to click on it and to put your questions in the bottom right-hand side as well anytime. And if you're having any technical issues, feel free to reach out to the great staff of the Brampton Board of Trade. Christy, Lorraine, or Justina are available to help you out. Ladies and gentlemen, the business community looks forward to this event every year. We're going to hear from two dynamic leaders in our community, Mayor Brown and the chair of the Brampton Board of Trade, Michelle McCollum, and we're also going to recognize and honor a member of our region's finest, Detective Constable Gregory O'Connor, a member of the Peel Region Police Service. This past year, more than ever, whether you represent the private sector, nonprofit, or public sector, like I say, we have over 300 registrants for today. You're making a positive difference in Brampton. Together, we support each other, we challenge each other, and we hold each other accountable for the progress of our city. And thanks for your making time today. You know, in that spirit, the board of directors encourages you to ask questions of our private and public sector leaders today. Use the chat function, as I say. And I want to also say that I understand a number of you have taken part in the sessions earlier. I want to remind you again that they'll be there after our session ends for half an hour between 1 and 1:30 as well. I want to thank our business volunteers, Vanessa White, Chris Drew, Scott Goodison, Kate Saldana, Shauna K. Jones, Donna Fagan Pascal, Joanne Rapozio Canvar D'Angelo, and Shauna McMillan for facilitating these discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, our community's progress is dependent upon all of us doing our share. I want to recognize a number of people and groups that are doing their share and a lot more to make Brampton the best it can be. Firstly, I'd like to thank our host today, the 2021 directors of the Brampton Board of Trade. This is a hard working group of individuals representing all sizes and sectors of our community, from family businesses to world leading corporations. We owe this group a round of applause for their dedication. Likewise, I would like to thank our elected leaders that are in the audience today. We're lucky in Brampton to have engaged and passionate representatives at all levels of government. In addition to joining us today, the Brampton Board has invited all local and elected officials to participate in an upcoming series of advocacy forums. They're coming up starting the Provincial Issues Forum on February 26th. Followed by the municipal one on March 9th and the federal one on April 9th. So join our elected leaders for some engaging discussion then. I also want to recognize past chairs that have joined us here today with the Brampton Board of Trade. These men and women have built the foundation upon which we stand, individuals that have dedicated many hours to growing the Board of Trade and its success today. If you're a past chair or if you know one, please feel free to give them a shout out in the chat. I know Wally Rudensky is here, Bob Peacock, Charles Wode, Glenn Williams, Susan Crawford, J. Paul Massey Singh, Badr Shamim, Heather Stratty, and Vanessa White, and maybe others are with us here today. Welcome to you all. We also have the majority of council is here as well. Councillor Santos, from Brampton City Council, Councillor Vicente, Paleshi, Willens, Bowman, Fortini, Singh, and Councillor Williams as well. Thank you for joining us. I'm also happy to see here today is Peel Regional Chair Nando Yanika. Thank you, Nando, for joining us. As I mentioned, just over 300 people registered for today's event, many of them recipients of Boards of Trade awards over the past, many top 40 under 40, past and current business persons of the year, and an amazing cross-section of employers from health, auto, aerospace, food and beverage, logistic, retail, business services, and more. Thank you all for joining us for these addresses and discussions. It's no secret that the last 11 months has been disruptive on so many levels. Continued support that's been shown to the Board of Trade through your renewal of your memberships, through corporate sponsorships. It's really, really heartwarming. Thank you for building our confidence, our agility to embark upon a digital transformation that many of you are going through, but one that's so important so that we can continue to provide the resources, support, information, and advocacy our business community needs to help our city prosper. And today would not be possible without recognizing our sponsors. And, the Bramley City Center, thank you so much for your silver sponsorship. Gold sponsors, Sheridan College, Proust Dash Kraus, Ryerson, Deloitte, Algoma, Goodison Insurance, RioCan. Our platinum sponsors, Bell, the City of Brampton, Dynacare, Rogers, TD. And last but not least, of course, is our presenting sponsor, an organization that is with us through thick and thin, providing the fuel that allows us to help businesses find the answers, represent them, and also provide the information that we need in order to ensure we have a strong business community. CN plays such an important role in helping manufacturers, farmers, and exporters get their product to market throughout North America. It too has, battled many disruptions over the last 2 years, but continues to invest in facilities and green technologies that enable groceries and medications to get to store shelves, get to pharmacy shelves. Their continued investment in our Board of Trade is very, very much appreciated. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to Shauna McMillan, Assistant VP Sales and Industrial Products, and a member of our Brampton Board of Trade Board of Directors. She is representing our title sponsor here today, CN Rail. She leads the industrial products sales team, and is responsible for implementing and monitoring strategic sales plans, direct sales activities, etc. She brings years of marketing experience to this new role. She joined CN in 2013 in the automotive group and marketing for domestic and intermodal in 2016. She just finished a very impactful tour with the president of CN as the chief of staff in 2019. So, Shauna, we're so happy you could join us here today. Please, the podium is yours for a few words.
Thank you so very much, Todd. And as always, your intros of me sound better than anything else. So I really appreciate it. Thank you again to everybody joining us this morning, all of our guests, partners, and friends. Thank you. I think it's going to be an exciting day. I'm looking forward to it as well as you are. And it is my privilege to be able to represent CN and our over 25,000 essential railroaders across North America. CN, as Todd mentioned, is a proud member of the Brampton Board of Trade and happy to be a presenting sponsor of today's event, again, featuring His Worship Mayor Patrick Brown and our very own Chair, Michelle McCollum. In January of this year, the federal government announced the approval of CN's proposed Milton Logistics Hub. This was a welcome news after a comprehensive federal environmental assessment process, which has taken a little over 5 years. While it's an important milestone to be celebrated by CN and all of our customers whom we serve, not only in Brampton, but across the GTHA, it would not have been possible without the support, the engagement of the Brampton Board of Trade, as well as the support of over 10 other chambers and boards that contributed to this review process. For all of your continued support, we do thank you. The Milton Logistics Hub approval was accompanied by a broad set of conditions designed to protect both the community and the environment, and that will make this hub CN's most environmentally advanced facility in North America, not just on CN, but in the industry. Once this new facility is operational, it will help alleviate truck traffic on the GTHA highways, reduce greenhouse gases and other emissions, provide needed inland capacity to accommodate all the shipping containers arriving to and departing from Canadian ports, and strengthening Canada's overall supply chain. Todd mentioned our essential part of that supply chain, and as you can imagine, growth is needed. We are growing in Brampton, we are growing in the GTHA, and our consumers want more. While we're grateful for all who took part in the review process, there's still much to do. We're never done. CN's working hard to ensure all those conditions are met, and we're committed to continued engagement with the communities and interested parties as we move forward. But enough about CN. I could wax poetic about that forever. But in addition to bringing you those greetings from 25,000 of us at CN, I do have the pleasure of introducing our next guest. Annually at the State of the City event and Peel event, the Peel Police Service Award is presented to a member of the service who, in the course of their duty and actions, exhibit an aptitude toward community service above and beyond their day-to-day duties. To present the award to this year's recipient and tell us a little bit more about this year's recipient, it is my pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage, Chief of Police, Nishan Duriappa. Please, I hope I pronounced that properly because I much prefer your nickname as Chief Nish. I can do that one, no problem. Chief Nish was appointed chief in October of 2019 after serving as deputy chief of the Halton Hills since 2015. His vision for Brampton, a safer community together, is bright. He has a dynamic background in diversity relations and community policing, as well as experience across multiple sectors of policing, from uniform patrol to guns and gangs. He is a specific and perfect fit for the Peel Regional Police. Please join me in a warm welcome of your Chief of Police, Chief Nish.
Thank you, Shauna, and you did a great job with my last name, so I appreciate that. I first want to say, if I was standing here in front of attending, I'd have the privilege of having my colleague, who I get a chance to introduce, the recipient of this year, Constable Greg O'Connor, and Greg is also virtualed in here. I want to first say that I had the privilege of being here as one of my first official events last year. So I have great pleasure of speaking with the Brampton Board of Trade, and I want to thank the directors for the hospitality. I have to say, though, it was one of my first humbling experiences, being one of my first official events, because when I walked in, I was greeted with, "Oh, we thought you'd be taller in real life," and so I'm happy that I'm virtual and that people can't tell exactly how tall I'm supposed to be. So that being said, I do want to say that we look forward to hearing Mayor Brown, and we know we have regional and municipal councilors here. But a little over a year ago, I was, brought in to lead this remarkable organization of individuals that have a best-in-class tradition, but bring about a approach to seeking opportunities to modernize and enhance how we serve the community. And I thought it would be important to acknowledge why the value of this award is deeply intertwined to Brampton's trade industry and the growth of trade. I think we'd all agree a community that is safe, that has a reputation for being safe, attracts not only uh, employers, employees, a community where people want to raise families. And if you think about the spirit of what we're talking about, it is the same interests that my organization, I have, and who you're soon going to hear from, Greg, has also. And so, you know, for you to take your time to acknowledge one of our members is a remarkable activity, and I want to thank you so much for that. That being said, policing has historically embodied an incident response model. And we have evolved and we're continuing to evolve. Our goal is to make this the most progressive police organization in Canada. And that is to be done in a collaborative way. And that's just not me saying these things at speaking engagements. It's really off the backs of individuals. And really today is about one of those individuals that tirelessly does that. And I can tell you, it is one of my greatest honors to showcase one of our members. And with the greatest of humility, when you get to see Greg, I wish you get a chance to chat with him in person. And I will speak to some of his achievements before I turn it over to him as he accepts this award, is that it's not based on an organization's perspective or approach, but based on an individual's activities. And Greg is one of these individuals. Greg, which if you can wave to us here, and you might not be able to see him just yet, but Detective Constable Greg O'Connor is currently assigned to our intelligence services, but specifically our commercial auto crimes unit, which he's worked in since 2017, but he's been an officer with Peel Regional Police since 2016. During his tenure, he's established himself as one of the most knowledgeable and highly regarded auto investigators in this province. And I must say that that is a significant reputation to have. In a year where we've seen COVID really reduce certain demands on policing, we do know that auto theft has increased year over year by 10%. And property crimes is deeply intertwined with a lot of other spin-off crimes, whether they be carjackings, robberies, shootings, and stolen autos are often used for commercial endeavors, but also to support other crimes. With a strong investigative background, Greg not only has worked in homicide and street crime, but he's also been in a break-and-enter unit. And he is qualified as an expert in court for stolen and revind vehicles, and is a highly competent and successful investigator. During this past year, here's a couple quick hits. He led an investigation called Project Bajan, which broke up an international auto theft ring and recovered over $2.2 million of stolen vehicles. He was recently appointed the director of the Northeast chapter of the International Association of Auto Theft Investigators, representing Peel Regional Police. In 2020, he led also a group of investigators to conclude a large number of cars being stolen from an auto dealership across the GTA. He also was commended for one of the largest Peel auto crime investigations in our history, with over $4.2 million of vehicles being recovered. His tenacity has resulted in his team recovering 3 revind dump trucks being utilized by a local Brampton haulage company. Don't worry, they're not a member of your board of trade. He also recovered stolen Lamborghinis and Porsches that were used during violent carjackings, as well as recent shootings across the GTA and in Brampton, as recent as May of last year. As you can see, his work investigatively has tentacles that really impact public and community safety. He then goes as far as to lecture and teach other officers on these type of investigations, help new recruits. He's got a strong partnership with the Insurance Bureau of Canada and several financial institutions, as well as car dealerships and rental agencies right here in our community. But here's the shift, and this is where I said he's not just an amazing investigator. He does a tremendous amount of work on his own time in the community. He's got loads of accolades from community agencies, his time on the front line, investing in community and bicycle patrol, and works as a frontline officer. But he also has shifted his efforts in a volunteer capacity. He has, for the fourth year in a row, Greg has been our co-chair, Polar Plunge, which helps support Special Olympics Ontario, which is law enforcement's a charity of choice. So for 4 years, he's done that. He's also been on the planning committee for the 2017 Special Olympics, which was held right here in Brampton. And he was awarded the Rising Flame Award by Special Olympics Ontario for his volunteer work. He also donates his time to the Ontario United Way, and he's one of our lead member reps to raise funds for that. As you can see, he's tireless, and he's just this outstanding, stellar guy. His partner, who couldn't be here with him to receive the award, they have a great relationship. He likes playing hockey and boating. It sounds like it's a dating site. But I just want to reflect that the people that put on a uniform and do the work are people in the community as well. And he contributes to that in such a well-rounded way. And it's why I want to highlight that Brampton Board's of excellence going to Greg is a well-positioned and earned by him. He's well respected by his peers and supervisors. So it's my privilege to just introduce Detective Constable Greg O'Connor and I guess present this award to him.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Chief. I hope you guys can hear me. Thank you very much for the award. This means a lot. This award is dedicated to my colleagues in the community to which I serve. I'm a very proud member to be part of Peel Regional Police for the last 16 years. Management and the community has allowed me to do a lot of great things. But it's not just me, it's the colleagues and the community partners that we've developed and people that we've come across over the years. I'm thankful for the citizens of Brampton and the region of Peel, for everybody that we've got to do. Receiving this award is something that I'm very thankful for. I'm very appreciative of. I've had a couple conversations with the chief in passing since he's come, and nothing but great things. I'm great for the leadership in the organization that we have, the support that I receive. I've been very fortunate in relation to any of the investigative teams that have been supplied to me or that we've been able to develop that have helped me out and our organization to make sure that we bring these criminals to justice and we can prosecute these in a good manner. So I strive every day to make the region of Peel, city of Brampton, a safer community. And this couldn't be done without the support of management, our organization, the officers that we have that are out there working tirelessly on the front lines that are doing these day-to-day, putting in long hours and long shifts. I won't lie, it's there is some long hours, but we do it because we do it for our community, and we do it because we want to make the region of Peel a better place for everyone. There's nothing more rewarding than having a conversation with individuals or speaking with a victim or just even community partners that we've developed and engaged over the years. And a lot of them, I can honestly say I've developed friendships with and networking that reach out at Christmas or reach out different times a year, or, an incident occurs in Peel, they send an email or a text message, and it's a nice thought for them to sit there and say, you know what, with today's climate, with different things that are going on, these incidents that occur, we support you. And there's nothing that I can't say. I'm extremely proud to be a police officer. I'm very thankful for the job that I have and the residents of Peel. Together, we'll make Brampton a safer community. And thank you very much, Chief. I appreciate everything. Thank you to the Brampton Board of Trade and the Police Services Board. We'll only do things and make things better as we can. And look forward for the next couple of years. We're going to do some great things and continue on and be successful. So thank you very much for everything. I really appreciate the award. I got to get in for afternoon shift because I'm working on a project, and we'll go from there. So like I said, look forward for new things, and I appreciate everybody. And this award is awesome. It's I thank the community and my service and my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Detective Constable O'Connor. We're so happy that you were this year's recipient of the Police Service Award. Thank you for the internationally recognized work that you are doing on car theft, as well as your community work with the United Way and with Special Olympics. And my goodness, that was a great acceptance speech as well. There may be a future in politics here for you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for your service, and we'll let you get back to work catching those bad guys. Thank you also, Chief Nish, and it's my great honor now to introduce one of our sponsors that will introduce our mayor. We're getting right to the presentations now, the State of the City address from Mayor Brown and from Michelle McCollum. And introducing the mayor is a friend of business, a friend of the Brampton Board of Trade, Lena DeMarco. She is the Regional Director of Community Relations for Bell, has been a strong supporter of this event for many, many years. Throughout her career, she's guided large enterprises with growing their community-based initiatives. Notable in her advocacy work is having raised over $6 million for charitable organizations, including another campaign. She's going to tell us a little bit about it. The Bell Let's Talk campaign just ended last week. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Lena DeMarco. Lena?
Thank you, Todd. And hello, everyone. On behalf of all my colleagues at Bell, let me say what a pleasure it is to join you today and how proud we are to support this virtual event alongside the Brampton Board of Trade. Today, in what is becoming a familiar format, rather than have the actual event live in person, we are going to be treated to what promises to be an enlightening virtual event. Bell's own operating principles in response to COVID-19 has been to keep Canadians connected and informed, prioritize the health and safety of the public, our customers and team, and support our communities. And before we begin, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for participating on Bell Let's Talk Day. Bell set a new record thanks to all of you who participated. On January the 28th, Canadians and people around the world took the biggest mental health conversation to new heights. Millions of messages of support for mental health were spoken, texted, tweeted, and written. We saw some truly inspiring stories on social media. A record of 159 million messages of support were sent. That drove an additional donation from Bell to mental health initiatives to nearly $8 million. The total Bell Let's Talk funding commitment now stands at $121 million. When it comes to mental health, now more than ever, every action counts. Let's keep these conversations going. And once again, thank you to all of you who participated. And now I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. Mayor Patrick Brown was elected Mayor of Brampton in October 2018 on a platform of getting Brampton back on track and receiving a fair deal from our provincial and federal governments. Mayor Brown was born in Toronto in 1978 of Irish and Italian descent. He graduated from St. Michael's College, then studied political science at the University of Toronto, and graduated with a law degree from the University of Windsor. He began his law practice in Brampton, where his father Edmund has practiced for more than 40 years. Mayor Brown's mother, Judy, is a retired high school principal. The mayor has a long involvement in serving in government. He was first elected in 2000 as a councillor in the city of Barrie. He served 2 terms on city council before getting elected as a member of parliament. He was re-elected in 2008 and 2011. From 2006 to 2014, Mayor Brown was the chair of the Canada-India Parliamentary Association, and he also served as chair of the GTA caucus from 2011 to 2015. In May 2015, Mayor Brown was elected leader of the Ontario PC Party. He began the member of Parliament of Provincial Parliament in September 2015 for the riding of Simcoe North. He served as leader of the official opposition and education critic. Mayor Brown and his wife Genevieve lived in downtown Brampton with their son Theodore, and they are expecting another child in April. Congratulations, Mayor Brown. And now over to you, Your Worship.
Well, thank you, Lena, for that kind introduction. And it's great to be with all of you for this virtual State of the City address. And, you know, credit to the Board of Trade for finding a way to put together this gathering. I know with COVID, we can't gather in person, but you've really adapted to allow us to continue to carry on this tradition. And today I really wanted to talk about how Brampton businesses have risen to the occasion. And it really has been inspiring. There's been a lot of attention from coast to coast about Brampton during this pandemic, the hardship that we have faced, the higher risk that many of us have had to COVID-19. But in that storm of risk, I have seen left, right, and center businesses that have risen to the occasion and made us so proud. So let's talk a little bit about part of the business dynamic in Brampton. Brampton is the hub of North America's transportation network, home to Canada's largest inland port. It's an economic gateway for quick and efficient movement of goods and services. It's essential. The trucking sector, logistics sector is critical to moving Canada's economy. We have the largest food processing sector in the country with more than 11,000 jobs involved just in food processing. And one interesting thing about the last year with COVID is that Brampton businesses haven't been less busy. In these sectors, they've actually been more busy. According to the Region of Peel, every day 68,000 vehicles transport goods over Peel roads. Every single day, goods worth $1.8 billion move to and through and from Peel. If you want to see goods move in Canada, it goes through Peel, it goes through Brampton. Actually, 4 of 9 jobs in Peel region are associated with the movement of goods. And so when I look at the employment profile in many parts of the region, in many parts of Brampton, these are jobs that don't have the luxury of working from home. If you look at the employment profile of Brampton, these are essential workplaces. And I have to say, and I want to use this opportunity to highlight, in these essential work environments, these Brampton businesses, they face a greater risk. And I don't hear people complaining about the greater risk. They go about their work. They know they're integral to Canada's supply chain, but they do face a greater risk. There's been outbreaks in food processing plants. Just recently, Dr. Lowe talked about the higher risks that truckers face with in-person interactions, cross-border exposure, team riding, many high-touch areas within the trucking environment. And so today I wanted to highlight some of these unsung heroes. Because normally in a State of the City address, you'd be talking about the biggest aspirations that you've had over the last year, the projects the city's working on. But when I talk about the last year and the State of the City, you know, what comes to mind first is COVID, and COVID. So let's talk about some of these companies that have risen to the occasion to serve Canada. Let's start off with transportation logistics. You look at Brampton companies, Speedy, Seva Logistics, Transnet Freight, DHL Express, Maritime Ontario, Day & Ross, Hopewell Logistics, ASL Global Logistics, Seaport Intermodal, CN, Vision Transportation, Houston Logistics, Stevens Company, Diacom Express, and Allied Systems. Those are just a few companies. So let's talk about these companies and why they're so critical and why I'm so proud of these companies as mayor of the city. You look at Speedy Transport. They've had their corporate office in Brampton for 30 years. You know what they were shipping over the last year? PPE, N95 masks across North America, hand sanitizer, Perel. If you see Perel, it's likely a Brampton trucking company that has brought it into Canada, and many cleaning materials that they have shipped across North America. You look at Seaport Intermodal, which has been servicing the GTA in Ontario with the facility that they facilitated international export and import good movement for almost 20 years. And this Brampton-based company has been integral to the movement of food, both perishable and non-perishable, manufacturing materials, raw materials, medical supplies, and building supplies. This one company drives 20 million kilometers a year, moving goods between New York ports, Montreal ports, and rail yards to and from warehouses and storefronts across Ontario. So if you want to see building supplies in Canada, if you want to see grocery stores filled during the pandemic, thank a Brampton company. I look at Transnet Freight, which is a new trucking business operating in Brampton since March of 2020. They've had no work stoppages, not a single day during the pandemic. They're moving essential foods and household products from the US to the GTA. Once again, new company, but 86 truckers, 150 to 180 essential workers. You know, I look at ASL Global Logistics, which hauls, once again, food items in temperature controlled reefers, household commodities. They ship Canada Post and medical supplies. And the list goes on and on. And so, you know, when you talk about businesses stepping up to serve Canada, when we talk about Brampton businesses, they really are at the forefront of this pandemic response. And it's not just trucking companies. You know, you look at MDA, which is using its sterile laboratories to produce face shields. You look at Sheridan College, and Michelle, you'll like this reference, but Sheridan College students are producing 3D printed face shields. ABC Technologies, another Brampton company, helping produce parts of ventilators. Almag Aluminum, producing parts for ventilators, medical beds, tables, partitions, once again, a Brampton-based company. Royal Containers, producing partitions for cashiers in grocery stores and other stores in Canada. Medtronic, the largest medical device employer in Canada, has pivoted to produce ventilators. Polar Pack is producing face shields. Once again, another Brampton company rising to the occasion. So when you go grocery shopping or picking up takeout from your favorite restaurant, wherever you are in Canada, I want you to know there is a Brampton contribution. And the fact that things, other than we can't gather together, but you know, relatively, go to the grocery store, you can order whatever goods you want, that the normalcy of that supply chain is because of Brampton companies that have risen to the occasion. And so let's talk about the food processing sector now. You look at Ital Pasta, which has been producing food coast to coast for Canadians, but not only have they been working 24 hours a day maintaining Canada's supply chain, they've also donated hundreds of pounds of pasta to local food banks. Look at Golden Boy Foods, and I mentioned this because I did a tour of it, but you may not know this, but if you eat peanut butter, and most families do have peanut butter, it was likely processed in Brampton. They're one of the largest processors of peanut butter, not just in Canada, but in the world. You know, look at some of the other companies, you know, outside of the food processing sphere. You know, O2 Medical Technology has been supplying ventilators to support at-risk patient needs and have pledged to build 10,000 ventilators in Ontario. You look at MPAC Spray Tech, is an aerosol producer out of Brampton, helping produce hand sanitizer to fill the shortage that we had. And we're finally getting caught up with that. The Stevens Company, once again, Brampton company, based in Brampton since 1981, has been instrumental in distributing hospital and healthcare supplies across Canada, ensuring that PPP was available. And then, of course, you talk about Amazon. 80% of the items ordered on Amazon in Canada flow through Brampton. Or look at Rogers. Right now, with everyone working from home, they depend on IT infrastructure. One of the largest Rogers facilities in the country is in Brampton. And so when you talk about Brampton businesses' contributions during the pandemic, it really is inspiring. As you can see, Brampton residents and businesses have been at the forefront of this pandemic. After the Second World War, it was famously said that never has so much been owed by so many to so few. And when I think of that quote, I think about right now the appreciation that there should be across the country for these essential workers in Brampton. We owe them a debt of gratitude. For essential businesses to remain open during the pandemic, essential workers need to continue to go to work. They go to work in order our supply chain to exist. If you want food in a grocery store, thank a Brampton essential worker. If you want our supply chain intact for the movement of goods, thank a Brampton worker. And they do that knowing that they face enhanced risks. They do that knowing that they go into a higher risk environment. And so on behalf of the city of Brampton, this year, when I think of the state of the city, I think of essential workers. I think of our businesses that have risen to the occasion. And it makes me so tremendously proud of the city of Brampton, because this is a resilient business community. This is a resilient city that in a determined fashion has responded to the challenges that this pandemic has brought. And I'd be remiss in closing not to thank our city council too, because they've stepped up as well. And we've had task force that are being co-chaired by every councillor, and they knew that they had a responsibility to help out in any way we can. And I don't think anyone could have prepared for a pandemic. It doesn't happen very often. And I've been so impressed by how agile everyone has been. And this year, I really believe, as we look back at the last year and look at the tough months we still have ahead, I do, and I think we all should have a level of appreciation for these unsung pandemic heroes. Our future is bright. I know we're going to get through this, and I'm really looking forward to the conversation today with Michelle and Todd.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I'm looking forward to our Q&A section and learning more about your insights. My name is Donna Pascal, and I'm the chair-elect for the Brampton Board of Trade, which means next year it's going to be my turn in the hot seat. I'm proud to be a member of the DynaCare leadership team, and DynaCare has been very committed to delivering the highest quality clinical, scientific, and technological support for the Brampton community and across Canada. We serve patients, physicians, healthcare facilities, insurance companies, and corporation. And this commitment influences every aspect of our company. And it was no different with the pandemic. From our logistics team, who were responsible for transporting COVID samples from long-term care homes, pharmacies, and from public health facilities, to our laboratories that have been responsible for testing over 1 million COVID-19 PCR samples, and testing and validating various collection methods to support the fight against COVID-19. So I'm really pleased to be here today, and I was asked to introduce Brampton Board of Chair Michelle McCollum, who is also Associate Vice President for Capital Development and Facilities Management at Sheridan College. If you remember Michelle's speech at the AGM in November, she committed to focusing the organization on curiosity, courage, and connection. I'm looking forward to the year ahead and seeing how Michelle makes this happen. I think she is most excited about connection because Michelle claims to be a hugger and has always prepared and is preparing everyone that once it's safe again, She'll be hugging everyone. Michelle, I will receive your hug. Welcome, Michelle, and I look forward to hearing from you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Donna. And yeah, I'm already warning people, if you don't want to hug, you have to let me know well in advance, because I've been missing hugging people so much. Thank you, Donna, for the wonderful introduction. We're so grateful for your leadership at the Board of Trade. Congratulations to Detective Constable O'Connor, and thank you to Chief Nish for your ongoing work in the Peel community. And to Mayor Brown, I think your comments were absolutely perfect, and it's so great to hear that level of recognition for our businesses and how they're so important, not just in our region, but in Canada. I think it's also important to acknowledge that this has been an exceptionally difficult time to be in a leadership position, whether that's in government, in public service, or in industry. And we thank you and all of our elected leaders for your commitment to the Brampton community. In November at our AGM, as Donna said, I outlined that my focus as chair for 2021 would be inspired by 3 words: curiosity, courage, and connection. And today I'd like to reflect on those words, what they mean to me, to the Brampton business community, and why they evoke really important thoughts that might help us prepare for Brampton's future at this pivotal time. In 2008, some of you may know, some of you may not, I was presented with an opportunity, a job offer here in Brampton, and with it the chance to move to Canada and to start a new life. 3 months later, my family and I were on a plane leaving Glasgow airport on a one-way ticket. Someone working at the airport asked me if I was going on holiday, how long would I be away? And that's when it hit me. I wouldn't be coming back anytime soon, and my life wasn't going to be the same anymore. I was excited and curious to see what my new life would bring. I remember having to dig deep to find the courage to hold my breath and to take that leap and enter the unknown. I recall the feeling of being in a new place where I didn't know anyone, no network or support system, and that feeling of being really alone. And it was at that time that I realized the importance of being connected. And it's because of the kindness and generosity of others that I have the privilege of being here today and the honour of representing the Brampton business community. I see great examples of curiosity, courage and connection in our businesses and in our Board of Trade network. And Mayor Brown articulated a lot of that so well. Curiosity sparked the ideas and creativity that fuel our innovators like ABB, Benpro, Dynacare, Rogers, MDA, and many others. And it's seen partnerships like between Sheridan and Coke Canada Bottling innovate together to problem solve and help small businesses during COVID-19. As we go forward, it's our curiosity that will allow us to continue to create and to innovate, to be entrepreneurial and respond to our changing world and a climate of rapid digital transformation. Courage is going to allow us to keep going through this pandemic, to overcome fear and to help us to become even more resilient. Most importantly, and Mayor Brown said this so well, we've seen tremendous courage from so many in our community, from our healthcare workers to our first responders, those working in manufacturing, food and beverage, in logistics, making sure that the supply chain keeps moving, and in education and post-secondary, where we make sure that we keep feeding the talent supply chain, and of course in government. We're indebted to everyone in our community who's working hard every single day, selflessly putting themselves at risk to keep us going. Thank you to our incredible businesses and most of all, our frontline and essential workers. And of course, we're all here today as we recognise the importance of staying connected. I'm so grateful to Todd and the team at the Board of Trade who provide so many meaningful ways for us to connect and engage through our networks and events, like the amazing work that they've done today. Congratulations to the team. And providing ways to support each other through this difficult time, to listen, to share ideas and to stay engaged. We're arguably in the midst of the fastest disruption that the modern world has ever seen, and such ambiguity. Over the last year, we have seen some of the best examples of humanity and some of the worst. We've been devastated by losing loved ones or the worry that we may. We've seen some businesses suffer catastrophic losses, while others have been able to seize the opportunity as a catalyst for positive change. We are seeing greater disparities and inequities emerging in health, in business, and in life, and the divide is continuing to grow. Empathy and kindness have never been more important. The need to support and to be supported has never been greater. We need to continue to be courageous, to have difficult conversations about inequities in health and wellness in our racialized communities, and about how we support our businesses in the challenging sectors like entertainment and restaurants and retail, and how we advocate for the investment and outcomes that we need for Brampton. I think back to 2008 and of my immigration story, and I reflect on how scary, uncertain, facing the unknown. But that was nothing compared to what we face today. But if we can remain curious and act with courage and recommit to connection, we can continue to navigate these difficult times and emerge strong, more resilient, and together. We have an impressive business community. You are amazing private and public sector leaders who continue to inspire me and those around you. Thank you for everything you do, for being here today, and for continuing to support the Board of Trade and our community. I am so grateful to you all and will continue to work hard for our business community in appreciation for all that has been given to me. Thank you.